We're live. We're in the building. Where's Jeremy Elbourn? Where is Jeremy Elbourn? Oh, there he is. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Angular Q&A gaming, coding, questions, hanging out, just being cool live stream. I am your host, well, one of your hostess with the mostest, Mark Texan, and I'm joined by the incomparable, the undeniable, the one I look forward to talking with the most, Mr. Jeremy Elbourn.
Mark, tell me about your new background. You're not in the white void anymore.
Not the white void is still here. It is now toggleable. Um so I built a new background. This is actual planks and wood. So I built so this is this concept called stage flats. And so I built some stage flats. They're for like theater. And then I got these panels that are interchangeable now. So I have them with just like a clamp, and I can take them off and put new panels on. This one, these two grass panels are still in progress. I realized I didn't buy enough grass because it's supposed to be full grass all the way down. So I just split the serving size in two, so to speak, because it's supposed to be full grass all the way down. And I don't have enough grass. But not the liminal void this time. This is a new look. So friends at home, tell us what you think. Do you like the new background? Do you like the ideas? I know I can do a little bit better with this one. One needs a little bit of help. I'll get my laser level out. Let's see who we got in the building. We got Abhishek in the building. What's going on? Alcatraz, what's up? Okay, Patrick, what's going on? Okay, Prasoon, hello. Ram Tenna, what's going on? Look who it is. It's you. That's who it is. Siddharth, what up? Chain Singh, what's going on? Clifford, what's going on, Clifford? All right. And Vishal, hello. Let's see. Con inglés básico no entiendo, solo reconozco algunas palabras. Oh, entonces, esta stream es en inglés solamente, pero puedo hablar con usted personalmente en español, pero con toda la gente allí voy a hablar en inglés. Sorry, friend. Nice setup. You love it. Thank you. What's up, Evgeny? Good to see you as always. All right. What's going on, Rahi? They like the background. The background's doing good. They like it. Hello from Arjun Andres. What's up? Good to see you. Nicholas, what's going on? Loving Angular 19 for the new SSR site I've made for the company I work at. Thank you for using our tools to build great apps. That is fantastic. From Uruguay, what's going on? Mihul, hello. Excited for Angular 19. Just wait to hear about Angular 20. Anurag, hello. All right. Javon, what's up? Thank you, Wilmer. Thank you. Another Andres. All right. Jeremy, get your screen ready because you're going to be taking over very soon.
Yeah. So I was just going to try to code Solitaire today, which is interesting because I don't know the rules of Solitaire.
That's so funny. Joe Henderson, is that formerly Joe Alternate? Okay. What up, though? My tribe, people. Yo. What up, Tayamba? What's up, legendary Brandon Roberts in the building? Hello.
I think people are going to be more interested in asking questions this week.
Let's see. You're going to get a Google Chrome extension with Angular 19. Oh, let's go. Create a Google Chrome extension with Angular 19. Let's go. I love it.
I've never created a Chrome extension.
I've been meaning to, but I keep forgetting, and I keep meaning to make a Chromecast app, but I keep forgetting.
Let's see. I need to make my font size much bigger over here.
It is you. I knew it, and I'm glad. I used Signals for the first time today. I can't believe it makes reactivity this easy. Neither can we. We're so happy that you're having a good time. All right, let's see. What's the topic for today? Jeremy is going to code a game today, but you'll also be able to ask us questions.
Yeah. So I gave Mark two options. I could either code up something, or I could work on some Angular documentation, and we can do some technical writing here on stream.
Yes, and I will say this. I agreed to both, but I did think watching Jeremy code a game would be fun. So it'd just be a good opportunity. My laptop is down here. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not ignoring you, friends, but I can't see. Let's see. How are you doing? What up? How do you? What's going on? Hey, good job on migrating. Excellent work. Keep going up. Good to see your face today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Jeremy's screen is there. Let's see. Can we see this?
So yeah, I'm just putting my IDE there. I'm gonna add my window later. But let me run ng-serve here.
Keep that up.
Just so I have it running locally myself.
Yeah, so you only got your IDE, but you said you're gonna do the other part locally. That sounds fine.
Yeah. Okay. So this is running. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make Solitaire. We have nothing right now, so the template over here is just an H1. That's it. That's all. I just generated this brand new application with Angular CLI. I haven't done anything else. So I spent literally 3 minutes looking at the rules for Solitaire before this stream, and so we're gonna try to do that from memory. And then, chat, you're gonna tell me when I get it wrong.
Yeah, I kind of know how to play Solitaire a little bit, but I can like help where we need help. But somebody said to ask us a question on Twitter, and I'm going to try to surface that question.
All right. Oh, can I might have to just refresh my streaming page here because I didn't log in, and so.
All right, let's see here. Okay, so let's see. If you could tag me again in that question, we'll try to answer it on stream. All right, you took yourself off.
I'm back.
Okay, welcome back.
I didn't realize clicking the login button would just take me immediately out of the stream.
No, you got to log in. Okay, you're back. Evgeny, one thing I appreciate about you, and this is being dead serious, you have been advocating for us to use like LLMs during like coding sessions, and I appreciate that because I like to use LLMs now more than I had before. And I just gave a talk in Utah about what I think the future of work is, which you can watch that online if you like. But I think that we should use the stuff to our advantage, use the tools available to you. All right, I'm adding questions to the command. Establish a base. Oh, see, somebody said the same thing. Establish a baseline with AI.
Oh, I mean, should I just tell Gemini
Well, that's
to
not
make
as fun, but here's how we'll use AI today. Use it to do stuff that is not interesting, like generating a card shape. You know what I mean? And the styles for the cards. Like, let's not spend any time on that.
So I have some code from a while back when we tried to build spades on stream, and so I'm just going to copy a bunch of that. So,
can I add you back to the stream?
I'm in the stream.
No, your screen. I'm saying.
Oh, my screen. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, what are you talking about? I'm talking to you right now. No. So yeah, I just copied and pasted this card interface, and I have a bunch of other stuff from when we did spades that I'm just going to copy so we don't have to do a bunch of the duplicate stuff.
Yeah.
So I also have we got card values and card suits. Fortunately, there's these handy dandy Unicode characters for the different playing card suits. Which
and that's sweet. All right. I am let's see, speaking of what's a question for you. Could you please just like tag that question one time? I'm so sorry. I remember seeing it, but I'm having a hard time finding it. If you can find it, I would really appreciate it, and we'll try to get to it today on the stream. Oh, Jeremy, since this day, when we started with these, we now have signals, which is awesome. Can't wait to see how it turns out.
Yeah. So I'm looking for some Okay, yeah. I'm gonna like just like steal a bunch of stuff from the spades game that we did.
Go
So
for it.
first
Yeah,
thing I'm
and
gonna
we have
do.
a shuffle mechanism that you can still.
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna pull in.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'm going to answer a question. What are the odds that zoneless is going to be stable in V20 0?
It's not gonna be stable,
Not stable, yeah, 0.
but maybe it won't be experimental.
Right. So the odds are better wondering, will we land it as developer preview or not? We talked about this. One of the things that we've been working through is just like, handling errors so your app doesn't completely like nuke itself every time there's an error, because Zones did a good job of helping us with that. So we're trying to make sure you have a good experience with that, but we're working on it. Uh, Good question. Signal forms are in development. We Am I allowed to say what happened internally a few weeks ago?
I don't know. It depends on what you're gonna say.
Yeah. Let's
So
see.
we are actively working on signal-based forms. It is a new forms system that should be, fully backwards compatible and interoperable. There is a prototype. The prototype is not done. We will share it and have an RC when it's further along, but it's not done yet. But I think it's looking really good, and I'm very excited about it. I think everyone's gonna like it.
What's up, Michael Small? Hey, great job on your stream a few weeks ago with Hana Hanakamp. That was very good. Very, very like cool use of some really advanced coding and stuff. It's very good. Jeremy, I think you would have liked that stream as well. They coded some really advanced like use cases with like types and signals, not signal forms. What do you call that thing? Signal state. With like I think it was RX signal thing. I can't remember the proper name, but um yeah, it's good. It was very good. Very technical, very, very good. Let's see. Okay, so while you're doing that, I'm gonna see if I answer this question. No, you keep coding. I'll
All
answer.
right, all right. I'll focus on coding.
Yeah. How would you differentiate the usage of pipes versus computers? For example, if I want to format a Luxon datetime object, I could either write custom type or do formatting in a computed. So think about a computed like this. Think about the value proposition of signal-based anything in Angular. The idea is that if a computed is based on some other reactive property. So if you care that another reactive property changes and you derive your new value based on the change of that value, then a computed is going to be really great for you. Right. So think about it like that. Do you have other things that you can derive the value of that are reactive that could change? You want to reactively update. Let's see. If it requires a second read, I enjoy selectless proposal, easier to understand data binding scope. Yeah, the selector list. We by as in like Minko put out like a early like version of selector list, like just a screenshot that came from one of our PRs, and so people are looking at it and having some feelings. Uh, definitely some feelings. Of course, you do good stuff. People like to promote good stuff. That's really easy to do for us. It's top notch. Top notch backgrounds. What do you mean? Like our like stage or our screen? I don't know. Let us know. Okay. This one's Magna says, do you use Angular to write Angular or do you write everything in JavaScript and TypeScript?
I mean, Angular is a framework and it is a tool that lets you build UIs. Angular isn't a UI, so
Yeah.
there's that. Like we do use parts of Angular in
Yeah.
Angular itself, like signals.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Let's see. How do you handle instance of provided and root on user logout? Will you join? All right, I'm going to save this one because this is a pretty good question. Oh, thank you. Thank you. The stage looks good. Thank you. I worked really hard. I did not go to bed until about 1 a.m. local time doing this. You know why? Because I was like, I cannot go on stream tomorrow without at least a version of my new set. And I just couldn't. I was in too deep because I had already kind of like transitioned from the paper white background to this, so I was in too deep. But the paper background is still doable. I can just roll it down and get back to my old look, which is exactly what I wanted. So when I make some videos for work, for example, for the Google channels, I'll use the white paper background because that's kind of one of our standard looks. So I'll have that. But then for things like this or podcasts that I'm on or anything, I'll be able to have like this, like interesting look. This is something different. And then I can also adjust the depth of the set as well to be able to do some cool stuff. So all right. Let's see, Patrick, I got your question tagged. I'm going to start going through the questions now. I got you. We'll get to you. Okay, completely zoneless. So you can try it experimental right now, right? You can try it. There are some teams who are doing it at different levels, so it's happening. And so, but when will it be stable, right? We're still working on it. I don't think we have a deadline yet for stable. All right, let's see. Selectorless stable in V20, not a chance. We're still working on this.
No, I mean, yeah, selectorless is so early. It is like literally we're just like doing some refactoring inside of the framework so that we can even start like experimenting and prototyping. Like we're not even at the point where we can start experimenting and prototyping yet.
Right. No, we're just like we're working as hard as we can on it, but yeah, it's a pretty significant like high impact change. Okay, what about this? Some news about Signal Frontier. We just talked about it. We saw an early prototype that we have that's kind of like, it's looking good. It's exciting. Definitely not like ready for your consumption yet, but definitely working on it. All right, let's see.
Foundations.
Okay. I actually do need your guidance a little bit on this one, Jeremy.
What do we
I
get?
want to hear what you think. Can you give some advice on how to update a signal value that is in an array of deeply nested objects?
I mean, if it is a writable signal, you just have to locate and write to that signal. I guess there may be like a different question here, which is like a bigger question about signals is like, how do you deal with like larger collections or arrays where you want the individual values inside of that object or inside of that array to be reactive? And other frameworks might have something for this, right? Like Solid.js, right, is the like classic example here where they have stores. And we are thinking about that. We don't really have anything in the works right now, but it's something we've spent a lot of time kind of like discussing kind of tangentially to a lot of the signal work we've been doing of like, what does it look like to have a reactive object or a reactive collection? And we don't have anything for it right now. And really, if you are using Signal and Computed and Link Signal, it's generally like, it's hard to go wrong, right? I would say like use the granularity of reactivity that makes sense for the problem you're trying to solve. As long as your computeds don't have side effects, you generally like, it's hard to go wrong. When you reach for effect and start doing things with effect, that is where things can get weird, right? We encourage people to like use anything else before you reach for effect. But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, no, that's helpful. Component suffix still, Jeremy?
That's what the CLI generated because I'm not using the V20 CLI.
Unbelievable. I can't believe
I went to take it away, actually, and then let's see. This is going to be here. You want me to remove them?
Yeah, no, you're good for now. Pipes stay. Yeah, pipes will stay. So this is one of those bigger questions. You got to think about how we do things on the Angular team. So I want to answer two questions at the same time. Someone also said, I hope they don't take away zones, right? And then this person's talking about like pipes to still be around.
So
our policy is not to quickly take away things, right? Like we don't just like cut a feature because something else may be available that may serve a purpose that could fill that purpose, right? But just because we have like for example, HTTP resource does not mean that HTTP client is now deprecated, right? Because they serve two, they're related, but they serve different purposes and give you different like options here. Same thing with pipes, zoneless, like they will become, you can opt into some of these things, but pipes, I don't see us taking this away because pipes do something different than like a computer does, for example, right? Because pipes aren't like reactive.
So
Computers are reactive.
So I will like not to undercut you, Mark,
No,
but
say it.
longer term, this is not like a short term thing that's happening in the next year or so, but longer term, it is a goal of ours to make it so that the expressions inside of Angular templates are just regular old TypeScript. Because right now, when you are writing an expression inside of an Angular template, it is what we call Angular expression syntax. And it is very similar to JavaScript, but it's not JavaScript. It is different. And if you actually go to angular.dev, you can see in the template guide, there is a whole page. And go there now. It's docs, templates, and then there's a guide there that's called expression syntax. And it tells you in all of the ways in which Angular's expression syntax is the same as or different from JavaScript. And it's confusing, right? Like, it's weird that there's this whole other different syntax. It doesn't, so for example, Angular's expression syntax doesn't support bitwise operators. It doesn't support JavaScript globals like number constructor or parse int, or I don't think we support type of. There's a bunch of things that you just kind of have to know that are like, oh yeah, like this is just like weird. Most of the time you don't have to think about it, but if you brush up against the edges, it can be a little confusing. And of course you can't specify types in there. You can't specify arrow functions. And so long term, we would like to have the templates just be regular TypeScript. And the thing about pipes is that they are not TypeScript, right? They're just a special Angular thing. And so when we do get to that point of wanting to have like that TypeScript syntax there, that probably means that pipes aren't going to be in that template syntax anymore. What does that mean for pipes? It depends on kind of what the status is at that point of the like ECMAScript pipeline operator. There's been like a lot of discussion about that over the years. It's kind of stalled out right now, but it might pick back up again. And so all of these things are just kind of like very like loosey-goosey ideas for the future. So we'll have to see what it looks like when we actually get there.
All right. All right. Good clarification. I like that energy. All right. So keep going, Jeremy. Explain to the streets what you're doing.
I'm working on just kind of initializing this game of Solitaire. 1 second. I just gotta look at something over here. Oh, I've lost my window. Okay, so sorry, got a little sidetracked. But yeah, so with Solitaire, you're creating kind of these 3 different, like you're creating your deck, right? And so we already have some code that initializes that deck right here, just a normal deck of 52 playing cards. Then you have what's called your tableau, which is where all of like these cards are laid out on your table. And then you have your foundations, which is where you're trying to like land all your cards at the end. So I'm just going to initialize these. So your tableau is
because you can have multiple rows. You can have columns and rows. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So there's 7 like stacks of cards in your tableau, and so for each one, we're gonna say const stack is equal to our. Well, first of all, we're gonna say this dot tableau. Well, we actually have to initialize it first. So this dot tableau starts off just being an array. Oh, wait, this is not of this dot. I meant to make this as a method in here. I didn't do that. All right, and so that's this dot Tableau. Oh, actually, I guess I didn't have to do that, but it's fine. I'm gonna just keep it that way. So this is actually const results. Is that we're gonna at the end say return result. This is gonna be two-dimensional card array. What is this complaining about? Oh, no, that's right. What's going on here? Semicolon expected from where? What have I misdone?
It looks like, what's wrong with line 45? Start there, because you got an error.
That looks right to me.
Why does it have a red line? It says we're missing return on the method.
Was that it? That was it.
There you go. Yeah.
I put that colon there, and then I never actually finished the return type.
Oh, and then it says on line, somebody said on line 48, you got something extra? Okay. You figured it out. There we go. The streets were there. So
results, let's just say const stack equals an array here.
Man, this feels so weird.
Okay, equals 1. Let's see. Well, 0. J is less than I plus 1. So for each stack, we're putting in 1.
Gabriel, but I think the problem was that he had the colon there, but did not put the return type. But it could have been inferred. You're correct.
Push this dot deck dot pop. So we're going to use pop to pull things off of our deck here.
That is the right method to use.
And then we're going to say result of I equals stack. I could probably, like, a lot of this could probably be simplified, but
well, write it first, and then we can
actually result dot push of stack is what we want.
What is result? Result is a card. I mean, it's a card 2-dimensional.
So yeah, I know at this point. So I shouldn't do this, but I'm just going to say, like, yes, I know the deck has cards in it at this point, and so I'm just going to put this non-null assertion operator here because it's saying like, oh, well, like if you call pop, you might get undefined, but I know there's cards in there. So
if I were to read 53, it says stack.push or stack.push this dot deck dot pop. Sorry, I know, corny, but I couldn't help myself.
All right, so that is our Tableau, but it's not just cards that are in the Tableau. So we have to know for each thing in the Tableau whether it's like face up or face down. We're going to get to that later, though. I'm going to not worry about it right now, but we're going to have to change this type eventually. And then our foundations. This is just going to be, I'm going to like just hard code this because it's an array of 4 arrays, and it's more straightforward to just hard code that than it is to like loop.
How come it's not never?
Why isn't what not never?
Because sometimes when you, I don't know, sometimes when I use like arrays like that, it was like, oh, this can't be assigned never. If I try to add to it, it's like, oh, can't do that.
So by putting this return type here of like, oh, this is a 2D card array, I'm like telling what these arrays are of.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, okay, you're turning arrays, but I have no idea what those are arrays of.
Right. That's what I was asking about. Right. That part. Never say never, Michael Small says. Never say never. Is that a Justin Bieber song? Let's go, Justin Bieber.
Now let's render out these cards. So
we're gonna need. Are you okay?
I'm gonna do, there's 3 sections. The layout's gonna be awful, and we'll figure out the layout later. Right, so here we're gonna have our like H2 is our deck. Here we're gonna have our tableau. And here we're gonna have our foundations. I'm gonna actually swap these. I think the foundation should go up top, the top load below that. And here we're just gonna have, honestly, I'm just gonna put a button that's like draw a card.
I want to say something. As we're coding stuff here, I want to encourage people at home. I just put this in.
Actually,
Oh man, that's a misspelling. But I was like, feel free to answer questions. So like, we have a bunch of experts in the room too. So if people have like questions, some of you are already doing it, but feel emboldened to answer questions that could be answered. Like this one about the JIT error that people are talking about. That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's just focus on the tableau for now. So we're going to do our little for loop. We're going to say for stack of tableau. And so
you got to do your track.
Yeah. Can I track by I want to track by the combination of card value and title, which can I do this? I actually have no idea if I can do this. Oh no, actually for this, I'm just trying my index. Because these are never going to change. But like the tableaus are never going to. Do I put let here or not? I don't remember. This is a sign of how little I code anymore. And then inside of that, we're going to put like each one of these is going to be a vertical stack. And so we're going to put, I think like a UL here.
Oh, use a UL and do some negative margin for that way they can be overlapping. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. And then first like card.
Jeremy does not like that idea. He's like, sure. Keep him going.
Here's the interesting thing. Card dot suit card dot value.
Is that gonna work?
It claims to work.
Cool.
Because these two things combined are the unique identifier for the card.
Could you track by Computeds?
What's that?
Can you track by Computeds?
Yeah. So if card was right now, card is just an interface, and so it doesn't have like I'm not constructing card instances. But if I was, I could put a Computed in here that was this expression, but as a Computed, and I could track by that.
Yeah, that's super cool. Let's see. What do you think of vibe coding? I think it's fine. And
what is it?
So vibe coding is this idea that you get an LLM based like tool, right? And whatever, like an editor that's just LLM based, and you ask it, you prompt your way to a success. If you get an error, you pass that error back to the tool. Like you don't code, you just let the LLM like figure it out, like by just prompting and reprompting and reprompting. I think it's fine for people to just create things. The same way I thought low code or no code solutions were fine for people to create. If it's going to get you to create something, go ahead and create. You know what I mean? I think that it's going to be interesting to see if someone can vibe code a scalable application over time. That's going to be interesting. I want to see what that looks like, right? Like, does it ever get to the point where the generated code is like mangled or something, where if there's a problem or adding new features once you're done with your vibe. So like vibe coding to create your prototype is one thing. How do you vibe code over time to maintain your application? That is an interesting thing that I think we've yet to see, but I would love to see it. I would love to see how people do it.
All right, I'm writing some CSS now. This is the boring part.
See, this part I wouldn't even do.
Flex direction is going to be column. And let's just leave it at that for first. It's gonna look janky at first. And then we're gonna put
fine for some things. And again, Nicholas, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to prematurely limit what it is fine for, right? Because I think that some of our like dismissal is just because we don't want it to be good. You know what I mean? Like, at least I've been there. And I'm like, I don't want it to be good. I don't want it to be as good as I am, or or whatever. So I want to dismiss it, but I would say let's find out what that space is, right? Like, what is that space that it is fine for, and then make it more well defined, and then like, go from there.
All right. So now I think.
Wait, why is it for rich people? Is it because it costs money to keep prompting? Is that why? Gemini Code Assist has a generous tier that I think you can do a lot of. I wonder what. Let's see, Gemini Code Assist. Yeah, I think they have a generous tier that you can start with. I wonder what the numbers are. I don't want to misquote it.
All right, I'm just getting some errors in my terminal now.
Sure, go for it.
What? This is all right. I'm gonna switch to presenting my whole screen now. So I won't be able to see you anymore, Mark, and I won't be able to see any of the chat here. But I'm gonna.
Okay, so fine, that's fine. But I'm gonna comment this thing, which is really rad, is that there is a no-cost tier for Gemini Code Assist for individuals. So I'm gonna put the URL there in case you want to vibe code your way to a no-cost tier. Check that out. That's actually pretty rad that exists. Very cool.
Okay. My terminal. So can you put my screen into the broadcast if you haven't already?
You got it, brother.
So I'm getting this error. Angular compilation emit failed. I feel like I just need to restart NGServe.
Maybe. And then get this working, get some displayed, and then we're gonna do a rapid fire chat. Conversation, questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Get it displayed.
This says Angular emit failed. This is like a compilation error, but it's really unclear what's going on here. What did I do? I did something silly. I think
you did.
Here's my card component. It's printing out Solitaire, which is in my template. Did I get some kind of weird template?
Wait, isn't your but it's not getting the other words.
Yeah, it's not printing out the rest of this template after Solitaire, which is quite strange.
Okay, so comment out everything after line 15.
Oh, now the dev server is just not working anymore. Oh, you think, yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'll just comment that out.
Why doesn't like your imports? What's that problem? Oh, we don't care about that for now.
What's going on? Did I accidentally delete a file?
Car component is warning unused. I don't think that matters.
Well, that's fine. Here, let me. Here, we'll just render out one card, and then we'll say. What am I doing? Card equals. See, that should fail. Yep. So value 7. Yes. Okay.
Nope. Oh, right. That's what you wanted, right?
Yeah. Do that. Okay.
There you go.
My card component works.
Look at that card.
That's good so far.
Cute.
Let's get rid of that. We're gonna put all. I have maybe a hypothesis about what this is. Maybe I can't do this template literal string here.
We gotta tell that team, like, look.
Or do that, yeah. So I'm just gonna try real quick. I'm gonna say r.value here. Yep, that was it. You cannot put a template literal string here, but I wonder if I can put an expression and say, like,
Can you just give the cards an ID real quick? That is combined of what you just said. Yeah, I was gonna say, right, do that. I was literally gonna say do that as a property of the card.
Does that work? Like, I think it works. My site didn't crash. Yeah, that worked.
Okay, there you go.
So there's all my cards. And so I actually had this a little bit wrong. So this is actually, the tableau is my UL.
Yes.
And then EAU. And then that needs to go in a row. So tableau is going to be display flex, and flex direction is going to be row. And then inside of here, we want to have.
That's okay. You don't need.
No. Yeah.
No, not you. I'm talking to Chow. I'm saying you don't need this feature, okay? If you really do need to open a thing, like Chow's like, oh, bummer that you're like template literal didn't work for your track. No, and don't go and making this and being all like fancy. We don't need this thing.
All right, so I'm putting our tableau there. And
listen,
so
we tried to do a bunch of card games, and I tried to do an RP or card game maker, a meta card game. That was not a good choice. That was way too hard for a 2-hour stream.
Yeah. So this is looking okay. So like each card here, right? Like each tableau is a vertical stack, or each stack in the tableau goes down vertically, and that's what we want. So we know our like data is structured correctly. Now we just gotta clean up.
Make it smaller. It's too big.
Everyone always complains about my thing being too small.
No, your cards are too big.
Here. How's that?
No. Go back. Just make the cards tiny, like with the CSS, because you can't see them, because they're really supposed to be like stacked on top of each other anyway.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna condense them.
Oh, okay, fine.
Right? They're gonna like sit on top of each other. We also need now to be like here. This is gonna be annoying, but we're gonna have to do it like face up, I think.
Oh, the streets want you to get rid of this style. They want it out.
Yeah, the list styles. Yeah, I was gonna do that.
Just do it now. Gotta get it done.
Me.
Yeah, I know, but the streets want it done.
I'm just gonna say UL and LI. I'm just gonna do this globally. List style none. Is that what it is?
Don't tell this to Jeremy, because he'll try to do it next month. Make a Balatro clone.
I swear, I literally like as 10 minutes before the stream, I'm like, well, what if I try to make like a Balatro?
I know you. Oh man.
All right. So here's what I did. I added this optional face up Boolean. So I think what we're going to say is like by default, cards are face down unless we explicitly mark them face up. And so let's say like card dot face down. We're just going to say like background is blue.
A new form system, actually. It's not going to be reactive forms. Like we're not migrating reactive forms to signals. We're making a signal-based form as a form system.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna say this is gonna be very silly. my card is going to be class dot face down if card. So not card dot face up.
Okay.
So they're all gonna do that right now. And so they're all face down now. And I did that by just making the text color also the same color as the background color. But this is a handy debugging tool. So now I can highlight to see.
Okay. I'll allow it for now, but I'm saying, that's only a short if statement to take care of
that. Yes. I mean, I can change it, but I think it's a useful debugging tool.
It is useful for debugging for now.
All right. And that means that when we create the tableau, we need to mark each, the last thing in each stack as face up. So stack of stack dot.
It's true.
One.
You should do this. Look, make it, Michael, make it, and then just like link it so we can all see it. Just go ahead.
There we go. Look at that.
What did you do? Did you click on one and flip it over?
Well, we haven't gotten any interaction yet.
Wait, so how are those visible then? Because it's the top card on the stack.
Yeah, I just made it so that the top card of each stack is face up.
Oh, sure. Okay.
All right. Now let's do our little like overlapping.
Yeah.
So, what, you said negative margin? So
yeah, that's hacky. That's hacky sack. All right.
Well, hold on.
But that's not that I can think of.
I mean, I could just position absolute them all, right? But like, what does it look like to add? I'm gonna just like full screen for a second.
Yeah, Rico, he's just doing it for fun. We got to remember when we do live streams, especially when we code stuff like this, we're just having fun. Ideally, he will hide the hide the value as well.
Yeah, it's only for debugging right now. So like we can use
gap
the negative margin, right? One thing I realized though is now like this is actually transparent.
Transparent, yeah.
That background actually white. So,
and people don't notice that until you have to do something like we just did. Then it's like, oh wait, this is transparent.
Yeah, I know. And so now if I come here and I set that.
But look at that HMR coming in to help you. You see that? Like you changing styles and your stays the same.
Oh yeah. It only goes so far though.
How far do you need to go?
Why does it stop at a certain point? It's
probably because of the parent container.
It stops at, let's see, it stops at 40, which our cards are 150 by 100. So I don't know where that 40 is coming from, but that's not really enough. And so I think we have to.
Yeah. People are saying a couple of different things. You got negative gap. You can do relative on the UL position above with top 0.
I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. Is like, look, I'm an old school CSS author. I'm not up to trend on all of these new, CSS grid and everything. And so I'm just gonna make this stack position relative and
explain your answer, Varlatik's code, because you're right, but why? Explain it. We want to know. We want to know.
Position relative.
Oh, this is interesting. Here's something cheap. Transform height or Y, that kind of stuff. You can transform there.
Oh yeah, I should just transform them. That's the easiest thing.
This is what I was waiting for. A clear fix. Julio, listen.
Can I? There's like translate. How do you do like translate Y? Because this is like this actual translate thing here now, right? Can I say like 0 minus 10 pixels? Yeah. And then we put that up. Yeah, that works. So for each one, we want to Let's do that.
Okay. All right. Pause for a second. We got the questions are stacking up, and our
All right.
fantastic community has been so patient with us. So let's answer some questions.
All right.
We'll be
Go
rapid
ahead and take
fire.
my screen off of the stream, and then I'll pay attention to questions for a minute.
Okay, I'm just going to remove this. All right, we're going to take a timeout for our segment called Jeremy Answers Questions. We're going to do this every time. All right. If it's too like technical or to your specific problem specifically, like we'll defer to you to ask somebody in the community or post a question someplace else. But if we can answer about Angular, we will. Could a CLI command be created where you can run it to notify you what remaining areas you need to convert to signals in order to completely eliminate zone.js? That's actually interesting.
I mean, hypothetically, you can write code to do anything. There's a question of like, is this something that we would actually consider adding? I don't know, right? Like, so what we have today is we have migrations that can automatically convert inputs for components and directives over to signal-based inputs. And we have not strictly signal related, but the new output API, there's also a migration for as well. But your whole application, like, not like you wouldn't be able to do something that does it perfectly, right? Because certain things are only really knowable by running the code. And so we can't like run your whole application and figure out what would need to change. But for component inputs, that is already a thing. If you were using a lot of RxJS and you wanted to move some or all of that usage of RxJS to signals, that's much trickier. I don't think that it's something that we would tackle to try to like automatically do that migration. Although, again, you know, these LLM-based coding tools, you know, especially like Gemini, are pretty good at doing code conversions. We've been playing around with some like LLM-based transformations inside of Google for various migrations. And, you know, I'm continuously impressed by how good they actually are. Just like over this past week, for various reasons, not unimportant to the stream, I found myself needing to write some Dart code. And I was able to just like write TypeScript code and have Gemini say like, hey, like, here's my TypeScript code. Can you just give me the Dart equivalent of this? And it did. And it was like perfect every time. So maybe there's a way there.
Yeah, that's really great. All right, we gotta keep it going a little bit faster, Jeremy. When will the test run be finalized, and in which version can we expect it?
We should hopefully have some news on that soon. I recently gave like a Q&A where we talked about this a bunch, and we're currently figuring out like what do we actually want to support, because you know we have this experimental Jest and web test runner, but you know vtest is now a thing, and so like we're figuring out like what actually makes sense to support and what the future should be.
Okay, excellent, good. That's the pace we're looking for right there. Let's see. Will you create an RC for form signals? Signal forms? Yes.
Yes, when we're ready.
Any vibe coders on the team? Maybe Jeremy can vibe code this whole stream. Vibe coding is interesting. Jeremy, actually, can you check your Slack? I gave you a message that I would like for you to just do a quick preview on, and see if we can answer that on stream while I go through a couple more questions.
So, I mean, yeah, this question you sent me is about signal performance.
Yeah.
And I think that the question is kind of misleading, is kind of the problem. I think that it's more complicated than the thing that you asked me at face value. And like it boils down to like, it's a question about benchmarks, and it's a kind of a situation of like the benchmark is measuring a particular thing, and that thing is not representative of how applications are written in real life.
Okay.
But that's a very deep technical topic that I think we probably can't really get into.
But thank you for having a look. How is template-driven forms different from signal form?
It's probably too complicated to get into without having like us first like revealed and explain signal forms, because that is a whole thing. And so you'll have to wait until the RFC for signal forms in order to kind of understand what that's all about.
We love the simplicity of Zone.js, but I hope they don't take it away. Are we taking it away?
Zone.js is not simple. Zone.js is very complicated, and the bigger your application gets, the more it hurts you. So Zone.js adds close to 40 kilobytes of JavaScript on the critical path of your application. It spends a decent amount of time having to do all the monkey patching that it does. The last time I measured on a Pixel 7 device, which is what I have here, it's about 50 milliseconds of patching time on your initial page startup, which is 50 milliseconds before anybody can see a single thing of your client-side rendered Angular UI. Obviously, it's not a problem with SSR, which we recommend, but it makes your debugging experience more difficult. It doesn't work with the native JavaScript await keyword. There's potential for like overzealous change detection as your application gets larger, and if you're using third-party libraries that are doing things that Zone might be patching and aren't aware of them. And I could go on and on, right? Like there's a lot of things where like Zone is very simple when you're creating demos and examples and very small apps, but as soon as you start to get larger and more complicated apps, it actually ends up making things much more complicated everywhere.
All right, coding, back at it.
All right, back to coding.
Thank you for that. And we'll take another break in a few minutes, friends, about like 10 minutes or so. We're gonna let them do some more coding. We'll take a break, and then we'll do some more questions.
I'm bad at doing both at the same time.
Oh, this is good. Can I add you back on?
Yeah.
Great. Oh, friends, I want to let you know something else that's happening very soon. There's some more cool streams in April. That's all I can say for now. It is now April. So why are you like debugging that? I want to answer another question that I know that I can talk about. What are we going to do about the popularity of Angular? Well, I think Jeremy and I both agree on this idea that like popularity isn't like our number one like metric. Like we're focused on building the best tool for Angular developers, because honestly, when you look out in the industry, just everything is great. So as opposed to being focused on outdoing other frameworks, we're really focused on how do we make Angular the best for those folks who are choosing Angular. And if other people want to choose Angular, then fantastic. But I think that's what's really interesting. And if we keep making great stuff, people will come to it.
Mm-hmm. So I forget whether last child, the CSS pseudo class, applies to it like this card if it's the last child, or the last child of the card. Is it stack last child? That's what I want. Oh. Well, so here's the thing: is I want. Oh no, I don't think that's what I want. So what I want to do is say, for the last child on each stack. No, I guess it's not
that last type.
No, I want actually the first child. I want that's what I want. That's what I want. So I want the first child to have no translate. I want the rest of them to have a translate. So card, that's not first child.
So they got a lot of suggestions for you too.
All right, I'm looking at the chat. I forget how.
They're like ampersand not first child. Ooh, that's a good question.
Card not here. Actually, I can just look at DevTools. See, Mark, this is what happens when you don't code very much anymore, is you just forget these things.
It's okay. You know what to do. What are you guys doing to lower the barrier for beginners? Well, Randolph, we've done a ton in this area. And I was a big part of this initiative where we've created brand new learning materials. We've done like video tutorials. We've done new step-by-step tutorials on angular.dev. We've been revamping lots of our guides. Jerry's been a big part of that initiative as well. Revamping lots of guides to make things more clear, less complex in the way we describe them. And then we think that some of the framework features that we've changed has also contributed to this. Things like standalone and not having to understand a completely different thing like modules. The new control flow syntax. We believe that that has a big like impact on making it much more straightforward to get started, because then you're not forced into learning directives before you're ready to. So we've been spending a lot of time making small changes that we hope add to a big impact on this space. But good question. Thank you for that.
Yes. So thank you to let's see, who was it in chat? Someone, Rufo, who pointed out first of type is actually what I want.
Yeah, there you go.
So let's, all right.
Yeah. So
I'm
he
gonna-
answered the question, Alcatraz. He was saying that it's a little bit more technically complex that we can't really get into during the stream.
All right, just real quick. So that didn't work, right? So if I say card that's not first of type, whoops, the gold border. So no, everything has a gold border, and I don't want that. But what happens if I put just card? Oh, I don't need that, do I? First of type. Did I just forget that? No.
Cannot use NX due to an org limitations. So if you want to do like a mono repo, we have a projects feature in the Angular CLI that you can just set up and use, and you can have multiple projects, or like, you can kind of set up your thing like that. NX has a lot of extra cool stuff, very cool stuff that they've added on. But for your mono repo, you can just use the CLI itself right now can support that. What do you think about AI agents taking over programming? I don't know if they'll take over programming. I think our role as developers will continue to evolve. Just like Jeremy said earlier, his example where he wrote some code and needed it in another language, right? I think stuff like that is just going to continue to expand in scope, and I think we'll continue to be a part of the story. But I think our role will change, and we'll build bigger and better apps for sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's what was wrong.
All right, so Jordan Hall really wants us to talk about that's funny. Angular.json was their original NX. That's funny. But yeah, that's a really good way to reframe that. Yeah, okay. So Michael Small's kind of confirming that this is possible to use an Angular workspace with one big Angular.json. It works fine. All right, so here's the solution. LI, not first of type, not the card.
Yep, I figured it out because I realized that the cards are in LIs. But that's still, let's put that border back.
Jeremy, is there any way we can drop Angular.json by default?
What? Not an Angular CLI. Angular.json is how you configure the CLI project. It's how it knows anything about your project.
Yeah. But it's still a good question. Yeah, I think a lot of people are really interested in is it weird if I promote something? I don't like promoting stuff. I gave a talk at a conference last week or week before last in Utah.
You can promote your conference talks, Mark.
All right. I gave a conference talk at Epic Web Dev in Utah. That talk is all about like AI and what I think personally is like the direction that we're all going to go in terms of our work and such. Let's see how it turns out. I would love your feedback. You can tag me on Twitter or Blue Sky, preferably. That's why I spend more of my time. But yeah. Let's see what else. I'm answering as many questions as I can. Yeah, keep making good stuff. That's how we plan to boost Angular's market adoption. We keep making the good stuff and keep making our users extremely happy. Because and Jeremy and I have had the conversation, and I think he's aligned with me on this. Like, what if like Angular developers were just the happiest developers in the world because of the tools they get? Like, how great is that as a mission? I just think that's so good. And then you can build anything you could dream of with Angular, right? Like, thinking about that story is really a great focus for us, because we're just going to continue to just focus on that. It's really good stuff.
Yes.
A selector list will help with the adoption to new developers. I don't know if it's as big of a roadblock for people learning Angular, but I do know that when you use something else and then you have this extra level of almost indirection or abstraction, right, where you got to do the second level import, I do know that people could just be like, why do I have to do this? So I get that.
Yeah. So my
thank you.
I want here. What happens if I just say like Yeah, that doesn't do what I wanted. I feel like I'm getting too caught up on this because like what I realize is like each card needs a higher translate than the one before it. Otherwise, they're all just like translating by the same amount. So I need to multiply it by the index. And now I'm like, oh, well, what if I use this like new attribute thing in CSS? Is that even supported in Chrome yet? I don't know. No, sometimes Google's autocompletion is a little overzealous. Yeah. So like here, we're gonna try it. I've never used this before, but I'm gonna write onto the LI like data index equals and this is actually we want binding, so data-index, and this is going to be our $index from the for loop. And then over here in our CSS, we should be able to say this is a calc times matter of, I'm certainly going to get this wrong on the first try. And then how do I put type number? Yeah, is what I want. Is that the actual syntax or is like that number something else?
Let's go.
What is this? What's this complaining about?
Oh, here's a good question. How can it be a part of NG India? I'll go to the website, reach out to the organizers, and find out if there's a call for papers or if you can volunteer or whatever like participation you would like. So definitely check that out.
Did I break it? I don't actually know what the support is for this yet.
Okay, we're spending too much time on it. What's a different way to do this?
To ignore it and come back to it next stream when I figured it out.
Yeah.
All right. How many do we have? A lot of questions. Should we wrap up on the tinkering around on Solitaire and just go to questions?
I would like for you to do, because there has to be what's the next step? Let's say that the Tableau is finished. What will be the next step?
We got to add little placeholders for our foundation stacks.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, and that's just a little like for loop here, and we're gonna say stack of.
Yeah, this is a tricky little problem. Like we always pick these types of things where we're like, oh, we're gonna quickly do some like card game or something, and then there's like one tricky little thing. Like when I was doing a dynamic like rows and columns last month, that was just like that took way more time than I expected it to.
Stack placeholder. Don't do this at home, but I'm just gonna grab all of this stuff from card. I guess I could just put card on there actually, but like
let's see. Did I miss your question? Okay. Let's see. I'm sorry if I missed your question. I'm going to see if I can find it, but then we're about to go into a rapid fire Q&A again in a second too. So let me just find it again. Zio, post your question one more time and then I'm going to tag it and then I'll make sure that we get to it. Wait, let's see. What does this mean? Can you guys make a repo for incremental hydration use case? Oh, like you want us to make an example of how to of like what it could work on? That's an interesting project. Maybe if we can get some time, we can make something like that. But we got some really cool stuff coming up right now. We got Angular v20 on the horizon. We got Google I/O on the horizon. And then I'm gonna be leaving to become a full-time set designer as obvious by my like this is real. This is not like digital. My full-time set design. So I'm going to be leaving the Angular team. Just kidding. That's not true. Not leaving the Angular team. They're gonna have to pry the Angular team out of my cold dead hands. They can't get me to leave this team. I'm not leaving. unless they transfer me. And it's out of my control. But I love Angular. I love working on this team. I love the people. I look forward to working with Jeremy on projects like this and to, randomly send him messages at work that he's like, I'm so busy. And I'm just like, sending him messages about like random stuff that happens to me. But Jeremy's very gracious and very fun to work with. More TV shows with Mark. Listen, I love being doing TV shows. I've been doing this one show called Leet Heat, where I am the host of a developer game show called Leet Heat. And there's an episode with not only myself, but our co-host here, Jeremy Elbourn, is on it. It is a very funny episode.
It's true.
Check out Leet Heat featuring Mark and Jeremy.
Mark didn't even know I was going to be on it.
Yeah, I didn't know until he showed up. Yeah. Oh, that's such a good idea. This is such a good idea. Yes. I will continue to build this set out. I thought the graph wall was going to be like easier to construct, and this was much harder to like affix it to the boards because the panels have to be able to come off. I didn't want like sharp points on the other side, so I didn't want to use a staple gun. But I want to look at some other ways to like adhere some more grass to this wall eventually. Oh, maybe some like double-sided adhesives or tape or something. We'll see. But I'm gonna do this.
I think this is all we're gonna get for today, Mark. So we'll come back next time. Let's actually try to finish this next time, and I'll figure out the CSS on my own time.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, Marquez. That's so funny. Okay, from the inventory void to a set. Like I can show you how like great this is. Jeremy, answer some questions. I'm going to show the streets how cool this is.
Are you going to get more grass?
I am. I'm gonna get more to go at the bottom. All right, answer that question. I'm gonna do something.
Yeah. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. The like drop-in replacement for Karma will be web test runner. We don't have a concrete ETA on when that is going to land just yet, but we're talking about it, and we should know what's going to happen soon. All right, now I'm gonna.
The paper's not.
This person, let's see. Jordan asks, "Do we stream on Rumble?" I don't know what that is. We use StreamYard for this, but I don't really know much about it. Mark's the one that makes those production decisions.
Okay, there it is. Here's the magic of Hollywood. Look at this.
Let's see. Julio asks, "Do we have a tool to rename a component or class, select or imports file names?" So we have our schematics infrastructure that we use for like things like ng update that we use for all these, and it has the capability to do stuff like this, but it's not very user friendly right now. It requires kind of a lot of in-depth knowledge of it. There's not really any documentation for it. In the Angular components repo, we actually do have some additional infrastructure that's built on top of this that we use for ourselves for renaming symbols, renaming CSS class and selectors. And it's really just like a JSON map of saying like old thing, new thing for this version, and you run it and it's great. But that's not a public API. It's something we just use for ourselves. I would love to make it so that it's easy for everybody else to write schematics in the same way, with this very like config based, like old thing, new thing, this version range. It's on the backlog, but the backlog is very long, and so I can't say when we would ever get to it, but it's something I would really love to have.
All right, Jeremy, did you notice? I'm back in the void.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Well, look how easy that was. I just unrolled my paper roll.
I honestly wasn't looking at you at all, so I missed it.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
You should get like a little smart remote where you could just like click it and the roll rolls up.
Oh, that'd be so good. And you could totally buy those. All right, let's keep answering questions before that's funny. Okay, let's keep going.
This I was expecting more questions about this to say is like, how's the general feedback regarding the proposed new template syntax around attractive, etc. I will say there is no proposed new template syntax. All we have right now is basically placeholder syntax while we figure out what we want to do. So the things you see that we're like experimenting with, it's all placeholders. It's none of it is like what it's going to be in the like final state. It does represent kind of like the best ideas we have so far, and maybe it will end up with that syntax, but like it's not worthwhile for us to even like get any feedback about this yet, because it's not real. It's all made up.
Yeah. Another thing is this, like, I remember how we did with our control flow. We had an idea of what we liked, and you all were like, no, we hate this, like, do the other thing. And it actually influenced the outcome, right? Like, we did research on it and did user studies, and it actually influenced the outcome. So
It wasn't hate. It was like 60-40.
yeah, that's
But
definitely
like, yeah, 60, like more than half of people by a pretty wide margin preferred the like at syntax.
Yeah. So did you
I already
answer this
answered this
already?
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about this one?
That's a new to Angular, but sometimes host works and host list or host doesn't. So I would guess that there's just something wrong in the syntax of that host block at that point, because the two things are identical, right? Like both of them get converted to the same thing under the hood. And so it's probably just some like syntax error or something in the host decorator, or in the host object in the component decorator. Fortunately, we do have type checking for that, those host bindings in v20. And so that should catch if you actually have errors here, instead of just kind of like silently ignoring them.
Okay.
Is it possible to change a template property in a component dynamically? I don't know what this exactly asking. Like, it's like, can you change the value of a property and that reflects in the template? If so, then yes, that's basically the whole point of Angular, is that your template will stay up to date as your data changes. Is it okay to create a computed signal inside of another computed signal? In a very theoretical terms, yes, you can do that. But I would say if you find yourself doing that, you may want to rethink what you're doing if that is really what you want to do versus something that's maybe a little bit simpler. Like theoretically, there's nothing wrong with having like a derived computed, but it's not something most people would need almost ever.
Okay. Oh, so we just answered this one. That's the same question. Okay. Davide says, will signals be fully integrated into reactive forms, like value changes, status changes, etc.?
So there's kind of two things we're looking at for forms with signals. One is the thing we're actively working on right now, which is like a brand new signal-based form system. And that new system will be backwards compatible and interoperable with the existing form system. Second, we will be looking at taking the current form system and making it so that it's easier to work with that existing system with signals. And that may mean providing some of that like form state via like signal properties and things like that. We haven't been focusing on that as much recently, but it's something that we plan on getting to in the like short to medium term. So like, yes, I don't know exactly what that will look like, but it is something that we're thinking about.
Okay, excellent.
Will we change activated route that uses observable signals? Like this is basically the same answer as the previous thing, which is we're looking at, in addition to forms, also router, and saying, how can we take the router and add some APIs or consuming router state as signals instead of observables. And again, it's something that's on the like our short to medium term backlog, but we haven't started working on it yet. I realize like in the little Punnett square of answers here, there's a question people might ask of like, hey, are you also working on like a whole brand new signal-based router? And the answer to that is no, we are not looking at a new router or router rewrite or anything like that. Like that's not something in our kind of short-term roadmap. Does HMR keep signal current value only? So if your CSS or HTML changes, your like I don't believe your JavaScript rewrote, because that's what the hot part of hot module reloading is. It's just the part that changed, updated. What we do not have and may never have is JavaScript HMR, where if your JavaScript changes, we can swap out only the part of your JavaScript that changed while preserving state, because that can lead you to some very weird situations where you end up with inconsistent state in different parts of your app that could lead to weird buggy behavior that could confuse you until you refresh the page and you realize, oh, that was just some transient artifact of HMR. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So let's do this. We got 9 more questions. You can do 15 seconds each.
I'll go as fast as I can.
I know. I'm gonna keep pushing the speed limit, baby. All right.
How long do we need to import a component? And then, so this is one of the problems we're looking to solve with the selectorless project that we're doing. So we're in early stages of exploration there. Does
we just answered this.
Yeah, we already answered that.
Okay, so that was answered. Let's see. I added this. I want to comment on this about vibe coding. Just in general, though, I do think that your know-how and you knowing what to do is always going to be a valuable part of the story. So if you don't know what to do and you're vibe coding, that's one thing. But knowing what to do means that you can orchestrate agents to do even better work for you. So your architecture skills, your design skills, etc., will play a valuable part in whatever the future.
Is vibe coding just a joke someone made and then people started just taking it too seriously?
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
And now it's real.
Let's see. Well, PWA or service worker be deprecated. So this is probably in the context of Angular, we have an Angular service worker package. It's not under active development. We haven't worked on it in forever, but we don't also have plans to deprecate it. It's probably not super useful anymore. I don't I'm honestly not sure, but it's not something we really plan on spending time on one way or the other in the near future. What keyboard am I using? I'm using a Limo key something. It was a Kickstarter. I have not used ergonomic keyboards because I'm too stubborn to bother learning and changing my my muscle memory.
Yeah, I just went back from mechanical keyboards back to a very thin Magic keyboard. But I'm going to look for a low profile mechanical keyboard. I'm looking at the Free Flow Light 100 or something like that. Free Flow 100, or it's pretty thocky and it's nice noise. All right.
Does Angular removed unused CSS? No, we don't do anything with unused CSS. And in fact, someday in the far off horizon, I want to get out of the business of having Angular modify your CSS at all, and just leave that to other tools. Will components eventually become functional instead of class-based? This is a conversation we've talked about. I think if you go back and watch some that NG Poland keynote from last year, or you watch my talk from JetBrains JavaScript Day last year, this is something that we've spent a lot of time on the team talking about, of potential alternate authoring formats for components that are not classes, whether that's functions, whether that's single file components, whether it's something else entirely. And there's a lot of trade-offs there. It's something we'd like to explore further, but we don't actually know what that would be yet, right? All of it right now is just ideas, and we would have to winnow down those ideas into what do we actually want to do.
Yeah, okay. All right. I think that's let's see, last one. This is the last question of the day.
Let's see. How would you handle services that are provided in root on logout in a standalone app? I think this is probably a little bit more specific than we can reasonably get into.
Sure. But there's some Angular experts who usually are hanging around the community. Definitely reach out to one of them. Jeremy, this is my favorite time of the show. Well, second favorite. First favorite is saying hello to everybody. Second favorite is talking about what we're reading, watching, and playing.
Oh yeah, I actually have been watching some stuff unusually. I got some good ones. All right. Okay. So on Netflix, Just watched The Residence, which
Okay.
is it's a murder mystery
Sure.
set in the White House residence.
Oh, I know this one. Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Is it a
So I
series
recommend
or a movie?
it. Is like a mini series. It's like 8 episodes.
Okay.
Really good. Really enjoyed it. Like very like Agatha Christie, Knives Out kind of like over the
Yeah.
top characters, which I love. And
Heck yeah.
even the episode titles are all like homages to classic murder mysteries. And also, we watched Sakamoto Days on Netflix, which is an anime. It's the second anime I've ever seen.
Okay.
And it's very funny. I enjoyed it. Matt Mercer is the English dub voice actor for the main character, and he's always great.
What is he from?
Most people know him from Critical Role.
Oh, Critical Role. Okay, very cool. I'm trying to look at my watch history because I've been
Yeah.
watching a couple of things. Okay, wait. So that's watching, reading, and playing.
Reading, I've been reading an actual book for work called Staff Software Engineer by Will Larson. And it's a book I wish I had read maybe 3 to 5 years ago. I don't think it
Oh,
existed then.
yeah.
And it's a lot of things that I have figured out for myself the hard way over the years. And just like reading the book, and I'm just like, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Exactly.
But there's also like some good things in there, some things that are kind of like expressed in a really straightforward way that I wouldn't have been able to like distill down into something that good myself. So that was a great book. And in playing, played again like kind of like a mystery puzzle game called The Root Trees Are Dead. If you like Return of the Obra Dinn, or like Case of the Golden Idol, it's a very much kind of like the puzzle kind of mystery game for you.
Interesting. Okay, very cool. Very cool. Let's see what I've been watching. I've been watching just finished Severance along with the rest of the world. Recently been watching Dope Thief. That was a nice little lead in because after you watch Severance, you sit in front of the TV with your slaw ajar, just like like what just happened, and then another show just starts right after, and so they do a really good job of like finding your next like lead in show.
Yes,
So I'm
I
watching
haven't
Dope
started
Thief.
season 2 of Severance yet. I'm waiting until I can just like have a whole day and like binge the whole thing.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to hear what you think. And then let's see, reading. What another thing I've been watching is lots of like construction videos, like how to like do woodworking, how to use power tools. So like for the set that's behind the paper wall here, like I learned a lot about, like I said, stage flats. I learned about like how to use a circular saw. I learned the importance of pre-drilling holes from watching videos, right?
Yeah.
Like little stuff like that you think because you're like, oh, I know how to use a drill, just squeeze. There's just more to it, right? Anyway, so watching lots of construction videos. Reading, I'm actually not reading a book right now. I should. I'm going to find a new book. I'm not reading a book right now. And then playing, I'm still playing Tears of the Kingdom. For this, I think it's been like 2 years straight with this kid. My son, he just won't get off of this game. But I'm actually slowly completing more main story missions. So that way it's inevitable that we finish. You know what I mean? So we're like, dude, we got to move on. Plus, the Switch 2 is going to be coming out in a few months, and I'm probably going to buy it, even though I probably shouldn't, but I'm probably going to buy it.
Yeah, you'll get that upgraded version of Tears of the Kingdom before you finish.
And then it'll be another 2 years of playing, right? I'm so ready to be done. Move on to something else. Oh, and I'm looking forward to The Last of Us season 2. I already know what happens because I'm a big fan of the game, but I can't wait to see how faithful they are to the representation of the game, and then how long before the big opening twist happens, right? How many episodes do we get before that happens? Anyway, Jeremy, this is great. Friends at home, listen, we have more live streams in April. Can't wait to show you what else we'll be cooking up. We'll have some live streams from our newest colleague, Devin. He'll be there. Of course, I'll be here to support. Jeremy, I don't think you'll be back in April, but you can come back if you'd like. But right now,
I got things to do. I got some V20 work I need to buckle down on.
All right, so we'll see Jeremy again in in May. But friends, remember 2 important things coming up. We got Angular V20 and then we have Google I/O. So if you're going to be at Google I/O, please come and say hello to us. Come to our session. Come hang out with us. It's going to be so much fun. And then definitely stay tuned for all the news, updates, and more about Angular V20 coming your way. All right. We said this all the time. I would like to remind people, I don't care what you use. You go find a framework. I don't care what, you can make your own framework. You can ask Gemini to make your framework. I really don't care. All we really do care about is that you do the one amazing thing. Use the tools at your disposal to go and build some great apps. We will see you all the next time. All right. I can't exit, Jeremy. I'm sorry. I maximized the screen so I can see you. Oh man, I messed up my outro and I got to do it again.